Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's February 25th, 2023, which means it's a Saturday, which means it's That Dad Guy Answers. So I do a variety of different videos, but every Saturday I answer your questions. And how you get to ask me that question is just leave me a comment in this video, and then the next Saturday I will answer it. That's how it's been going for 55 weeks in a row. So yeah, very happy about that. Now, I did introduce something at the beginning of February. The first Saturday in February, I asked you guys a question and asked you to send me a postcard with your answer on it. So next Saturday is the first Saturday in March. So not only will I have a new question for you, but I'm going to go through the postcards that have started to arrive and go through and, read what you sent in response to my question. I'll give you an update again. If you're just tuning into it for the first time, the question that I asked at the beginning of February is, what thing in your area would you highly recommend to a tourist to see if they could only visit one thing, and why? So I've got a few cards back already. Hopefully a couple more will trickle in this week. If you are someone who lives relatively local to me here in New Brunswick, you still have a chance to send me a postcard with your answer on it. And the postcard can be of that item that you're describing. Many of them are that I've gotten. So there's still time to get it. If you're overseas, you probably don't have time to get it. But if that question comes back and your postcard comes in with an answer for question number one, you got to put a number one on it so I know what the answer is going to which question, then I will read them in the future, that's for sure. But next Saturday, I get to read the postcards that you sent me. I'm pretty happy about that, and there are some nice ones in there, so thank you so much for those of you who have already sent it and I've received them. All right, let's get to today's question. So last week, I got a question from Linda in Georgia, and she says, where's the question here? Oh, yes. Here we go. I thought I would ask you the question that you asked others. So she wanted to say, what is a wonderful tourist attraction or festival in my area that you would recommend the most, and why? So she's basically turning the tables on me and asking me the question that I asked you guys. I'll go ahead and answer that one because I also got that request from someone else too. Let me just go through here and see if I can find it here. Oh, doesn't matter. Someone else did ask that question as well. So what things do I have in my area that I would recommend you see? Well, Moncton specifically, I would say you have to see Magnetic Hill, which is an optical illusion. You drive your car to the bottom of the hill, you put it in neutral, and the car will get pulled all the way back to the top of the hill. Seems simple enough, but that's one of the things that Moncton is known for, Magnetic Hill. We also have the tidal bore, which is a phenomenon when the tide comes in from the Bay of Fundy, pushes up the Petty-Kodiak, and you have a constant wave that's coming in, and you can see the water rise very quickly. That's a natural phenomenon that's here. Just outside the areas, things like Hopewell Rocks is a natural area. You want to go see the tides, go see that. You can zip out to Shediac, which is only 20 minutes away, and see the giant lobster that's there. There are lots of things around, but if you're Moncton specific, I would definitely say Magnetic Hill is the natural thing. You should probably try it at least once. It's kind of cute. All right, so thank you, Linda, for that. All right, my next question comes from Miss Plume in Quebec, and she says, you told us the story of how your parents met. What is the story with how you and your wife met? All right, well, let's go back in time to when we were both in university. We went to Mount Allison University together, and in her final year in 1996, I met her. It was interesting because our paths had crossed many times before that unknowingly. We went to rival high schools in the city of Moncton. She went to Harrison Trumbull, where my kids now go to, or one of my kids has already graduated from there, but my son Ari is still there. And I went to Moncton High. And every year there was an art trip down to New York City, and Moncton High and Trumbull shared a bus. So we were on the same art trip down to New York City. She sat in the back of the bus, and I sat in the front of the bus because our two schools didn't get along well. So we usually stayed separate. So there was that occasion where we were doing the same things but separately. Another occasion is that I went to French camp once summer in order to improve things and just have a good time. And my French teacher, who was at the camp with me, while she was teaching me French, my wife was actually at her house babysitting her children for that summer. So another kind of quirky connection that we had along the way. But we did meet at university. We were at the pub, the campus pub, where we could play pool, and her roommate were playing pool, and me and one of my friends challenged them to a game of pool, and had a good time playing pool. I was interested in her friend. We went back to their place to chit-chat more, and as the night went on, I realized that I was more interested in my wife Shanda than I was in her roommate. And from there, we started hanging out more, and till I eventually got up the nerve to ask her out as more than just friends. And the rest is history, I guess, as they say. So that is the story of how I met my wife. All right, so thank you for that, Miss Plume. All right, next question comes from Amber in Missouri in the United States, and she says, what does your YouTube setup look like? All right, well, it's pretty simple. Let me just grab this. You're not gonna be able to see this, but this is my phone. So I use a simple iPhone. I have a tripod. With my tripod, I have a remote control, and so I can set my phone, as I'm doing right now, back in the tripod, and I can turn off my videos from here, so you don't have to see me reaching and pressing buttons on the phone. Better for the editing that way too. I don't have a lot of different things, but that's all I have. I do have some ring lights and things that I've used in the past for different videos in the basement, especially for my Lego videos, because I tend to do those downstairs. The lighting's not as good, so sometimes I use a ring light for that. But that's it. It's pretty simple. I use this, and then I use a Canvas for creating my, or Canva for creating my thumbnails, and I use iMovie for editing and putting all my videos together. And that's it. Then you can just upload them to YouTube, and away you go. I know I had this question too recently from Basil, who's looking at getting back into creating a YouTube account and putting videos up there. So he was asking how I did it. So most of my stuff is all through Apple products, because I have an iPhone and I just find it easier, and I use a Mac for my computer. So my things are Apple based, or fruit based as some of you call it. So that's what I use. Hopefully that answers it. It's pretty simple, very basic setup. These are very basic videos. You're not seeing a lot of drone shots and things like that. Love to have that, but never gotten into that yet. So hopefully you like my basicness of my YouTube channel. Thank you, Amber. All right. The next one comes from my brother Eric, and he says, how long from sending a card in post-crossing and not getting to its destination or being registered by the recipient before it's considered expires? So a card is considered expired after 60 days of traveling. So hopefully within 2 months you can get a card. It doesn't always take that. I've got 8 cards currently that are showing as expired. One of them has almost been traveling for a year, so I don't know if it'll ever reach its destination, or maybe it reached its destination, the person never registered it, or maybe it's still traveling somewhere, caught up in the system. Who knows? I know sometimes they take a long time. I've had them after 150 days still get registered, so there's still hope out there that they might get registered, but that's it. 60 days is considered expired, and after 365 days you can't register them anymore anyway, so they just get taken out of the system. All right, Eric also asked, what is the music that opens all your videos, and who is the composer? All right, so the music that is at the beginning and the ending of my video are all Apple Music in the shared portfolio. So you can go, and Apple has a section that is non-copyright music, and you can go through and pick any of that stuff that you want. And so the music that I have attached to mine are from that catalog. So it's not someone you're not gonna look up. It's not Michael Jackson or someone like that, because if I use their music, then they kind of have a copyright infringement against my videos, and I don't want too many of that. If you ever get to the point where your YouTube channel is getting ad revenue and things like that, anytime you have a copyright infringement against it, any profits and things will go to the composer rather than go to you either. So that's something you'll find a lot of other YouTubers won't put in regular music or music that could be copyrighted. Now, I do have a few videos. I've done some videos about my kids, their graduation, or just different events that have gone in, and I put popular music in, and it was just the fact that I wanted to have music that was something that kind of would tug at the heartstrings or have an emotional response to it, and I didn't mind that it was copyrighted. I gave all the credit to the composers for that, and so I expect that I probably will never be making tons of money off of YouTube anyways with the videos that I make. So if they want to get the ad revenue for 36 cents, then they can have it. I'd rather just have the memories that I had of making those videos anyways. So that's it. Those are my composers, or that's where I get my my music from, Eric. And I think that might be it for questions. Just quickly looking back through, making sure there's nothing else that I missed. Nope, I think that might be it for that video. That's great. Thank you so much for those of you who pose questions. You can still pose questions and leave them in the comments of this video. I hope that you do. They probably won't get answered next week because we're going to be doing the video responding to the question that I asked you, and then I'll give you a new question for the month of March that you guys can send postcards in and answer for as well. That'll be next week's video, and on that video I'll also ask you, send me in questions, so then we can continue on with this through March while I'm receiving your postcards. That's how it's planning on doing it. Today you got a bonus video, so I put out 2 today. You got this one, and you got one that actually has me and my son in it opening some Lego minifigures. I was going to wait till next week to post that one, but I had an opportunity to ask him to be in a video, and he said yes, so I had to jump on that. We filmed it and had a good time with that. He doesn't say a lot in it, but that's all right. He is a teenage boy, and sometimes they don't say a lot. I was just happy that he wanted to participate in a video with me, so that's great. All right, leave your questions in the comments below, and have a magical week. What follow? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.